Welcome to the Business and Bubbly podcast. This is the place for women in business who are on the journey of building their big ideas and want to have fun along the way. It's for those of us who also know we aren't meant to do business or life alone. Hi, I'm Charity Majors, your host and the founder of Business and Bubbly. Think of this kind of like the can I pick your brain chats that you've always wanted to have with those who are doing epic things, plus business besties, hype girls, and getting into massive action towards your next big idea all in the same place. Oh, and bubbles, because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. Together, we'll unlock what it means to be seen, known, heard, and championed all along the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and being a woman in business building big dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a quick sip business tip, as well as interviews from top experts that make you feel like you're getting bottle service for your business. We're having the raw and real conversations and chatting about all the things, the messy middle, the pivots, scaling, the good days and the bad days, because here we do real. It's where we can work hard, play hard, cry it out, and dance it out all at the same time without being judged. This is a place where we are in the arena together and we are each other's biggest fans because most of us have enough comments from the cheap seats. It's where our too much is par for the course and where the gaps of our not enough are filled in by the other epic women that are around us. It's where we can be unapologetic about the mission we are on, about the big dreams on our heart, and the business we are building without having to be perfect or have it all together, or even pretend to. It's a supportive community where business is being done amongst like-minded women, because when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. It's a place where you have the support around you to get out of your comfort zone and go after your big ideas, because even when you fail forward or when you reach the top, you know it won't be alone. Also, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with creating platforms that lift up other women to be seen and heard and known. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to list your business on our directory called Find Women in Business. All you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098, and I'll text you the link back to get your free listing. This is also a great way to connect with other women in business from around the world, so definitely check it out. And now let's get to the good stuff. Grab a glass of your favorite beverage, Prosecco, bubbly water, or whatever your flavor is, and let's dive in. Are you with me? Here we go. Hello. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Charity Majors, and I am excited to have today's guest on here. If this is your first time joining us, make sure that you say hi. If you are listening on the podcast as the replay, make sure that you give us a fun little digital high five and let us know that you are here to say hi. And so if you know anything about me, and even here on Business and Bubbly, then you know that we are all about money getting in the hands of good women, because we believe that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. And so we want to really elevate the conversation around women making money and what it looks like to join in on the conversation of money. We actually just had our summit over the weekend, and at the time that I'm recording this. And what's really great is that we got to have the conversation. We had an incredible panel, which Heather was on. She was on our Let's Talk About the Money Honey panel. And we had a really great conversation about what it looks like for us as women to not only know the numbers, but to be okay with knowing the numbers, and what it looks like for us to invest, and what it looks like for us to really take charge of those things. And so, yay, Heather's on here. Hello, welcome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Heather, everyone, all the listeners have a little bit of a background about you, but I would love for them to hear a little bit more about your background, just kind of what got you passionate about the financial world, how it's impacted your life and your family's life, and then we'll just kind of chat a little bit about what it looks like for us as women in business when it comes to money, when it comes to investing, when it comes to the importance of having that financial coach, having that person, that expert that really knows what they're talking about when we don't, right? So go ahead and give a little bit of your background, and then we'll kind of dive into some of the nitty gritty, the meat and potatoes of women and finances.
Yeah, so I was actually a stay-at-home mom before I started working. I have 5 children, and my husband and I were doing really good financially, or what we thought was really good financially. We hadn't worked with an advisor in the past, and just we were doing the best we could with the knowledge that we had, right?
Yeah.
And so here we go. This company comes into our lives. We learn a lot of information, and I was like, like I was like, hey, we're debt free. We got all these things going. Like, I thought we were doing great. And really, we didn't know what we didn't know. And that was the biggest thing, is you never know what you don't know. And so at that point, my husband and I started getting some of our license done, and learning and incorporating and doing all of these different things that everybody should be doing. And years later, here we are today. We run our own business here in the Treasure Valley. We have clients all over the United States, and yeah, that's kind of how we got started. So yeah.
What was one of the biggest shifts in your mindset, being a woman, not only being, whether it's a stay-at-home mom, but then transitioning like into going into your business, that you had to make when it came to your understanding of finances?
Yeah, being that stay-at-home mom, a lot of us, I mean, we're in charge of the finances, right? We're in charge of the grocery shopping and the kids and the diapers and the wipes and all the different things that comes into that. And so but that is the day-to-day of the finances. That is not the long-term game of finances in this world today. And so a lot of us just put our heads down and think about today, and they don't think about retirement and the future. And the number one concern of people is not having enough money for retirement. They are worried that they're not going to have that money, enough money to retire on. And so that's a lot of stress of what people go through today, that that can be overcome by having a game plan set in place. Like, hey, this is where you're at today, and here's your goals and dreams. Here's when you want to retire, with how much money a month, and X, Y, and Z. How do we get there? Are we just, driving down the road, not knowing where we're going, saving money in our 401k and saving, like money underneath our mattress, whatever that looks like for you? But in all reality, do we know if we're going to reach our goal? Or if when we reach that certain age, that when we wanted to retire, are we where we wanted to be? Well, what if you had that strategy of like, hey, make a right turn here, or hey, let's make a U-turn and take a couple steps back, and let's figure out where we need to go. So I think that has been a major issue when I'm talking to families and mothers and different families and business owners, that they're just like, I'm doing the best I can, but they don't have that basically roadmap of how to get. They know where they want to go and they know where they're at, but they don't know how to in the middle and in that in between stage.
Yeah, no, that's so good. And I love what you said about like us as women, like we are controlling the money. We actually control over, believe it's 80% of the money that gets spent in a household.
Yeah.
Like that's a big deal, because
Yeah.
we are making those daily purchases that have things function in the household, especially now, obviously for us as women in business, what that looks like. We're making decisions for our business and for our customers and for the future of our business. So what are some common mistakes that you see business, whether men, women, right, businesses make when it comes to their finances?
My biggest one would probably be the DIYers. The families and businesses that say, I'm just going to do myself, and again, doing the best they can with the knowledge that they have, versus working with a coach or an advisor that works with all of the money, right? So a lot of people, so 95% of people fail when it comes to their finances because they don't have a financial coach, they don't have a financial education, and they don't have a financial game plan. And so, like, Charity, you've seen football, right? Like,
Yeah.
have you been on the field playing football, like, at all? Like, probably.
Besides like powder puff football in high school where I threw the winning touchdown.
Oh, girl. So it's like, I know I watch football. I know it okay. I know what happens,
Totally.
how you score and things like that. But if we got a bunch of people like me and you on a football field and they're like, okay, go win the game, that might be really difficult. We're like, well, what's the plan? Like, coach, what's the plan? What's going on? And you end up losing the game. Well, if you had a coach that gave you some education on how the game works, and then you get on the field and he actually gives you a strategy each play, now you have the opportunity to win. Now you have the opportunity to reach your goals, to reach your dreams, and reach your fullest potential in every aspect of our lives. Because it may not be all about the money, but money gives us those opportunities that we wouldn't have had.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I love that you even brought that point up, because it's not about like, right, it's not about the money. Like, it's about that it offers choice. It's about that it brings, it allows for freedom of choice. It allows for, like a lot more, like a bigger sense of security. Like if something happens, your car breaks down, you like, right, like the economy is doing whatever, like having that financial, not only literacy, but understanding the financial, plan, the cushions, like the different accounts, the ways that you're investing, like all of that stuff matters.
Yes.
It matters so, so much. So what are some tips that you would give? Just some general tips. I know it's like for you, you're like, it's so individual, right? Like everyone's income is different and everyone's goals are different. But what are maybe some general tips that you could give for women in business when it comes to their finances?
I actually touched on this in my class at your summit on Saturday, is paying yourself first. It's a big thing in the business side of money, that, oh, my money's going back into my business. And so I would say it does definitely depend on your goals, your income, and different aspects when it comes to that. But as people ask me, well, how much should I be saving, right, to hit my goals and things like that, is one is 10% will generally get you where you want to be, right? 15% will get you a little bit more. 20% of your income will like allow you to retire early. And so that is a general rule, depending on lots of different things, your age and your income and things like that, and how much longer you have to go. We also, I would say another big portion of a 3-bucket system is having that emergency fund saved up, and we should have about 3 months of our emergency fund saved up at money market level or like a savings account. And then a middle bucket, which we call short-term savings, which is either 6 to 9 months of your monthly expenses, or that backup to your savings. in case something happens, you lose your job for an entire year. Now you have an entire year of savings built up. Or saving money to buy a house, right? That's a big thing. Our market's crazy right now. And so people are like, I can't get into a house. Well, this money is actually working for you in this middle bucket. And then we have our long-term savings. That's where we're going to reach our financial independence number. That's the amount that that's our 401ks, our Roth IRAs, and entities like that. So when I sit down with a family, I work and I help them build all three of these buckets at the same time, depending on their needs at that time. So that's another fun thing that I help clients with.
I love that. And I love that you help them do it with money that's already in their budget, right? It's like someone might be listening to this and they're like, well, that sounds nice, Heather, that, you got these 3 fancy buckets. And it's like, I don't know what other money I'm going to be putting into those buckets, because it's like, like I'm already paying my day-to-day and my whatever insurance and all this different stuff. But I love that one of your things that you really help them do is reallocate money. It's like finding the money that they're already spending and helping them save in this area, and then take the money and put it in one of the buckets, right? So share a little bit about that, because I love that.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, because working with a financial coach that works with all of your money rather than just investments or just insurances or just this, we work with all of the money. And the difference could be, $900 a month in insurance that they're overspending, and that we're able to save them and get better coverage and different types of things on that side. Like I personally partner with over 120 different companies to help provide that. And a lot of different firms don't do that. And so, for instance, there's a family that I kind of talk about when I sit down with a client, and it shows how I'm able to save them $585 a month, right? Generally, if you're making, anywhere between 50 and 70,000 a year, I can anywhere from $300 to $500. That's just, I don't know where it goes, right? We do know
out there.
It goes to the Amazon driver. It goes to coffee. It goes to gasoline, right? All these different places. But when we sit down with them, we're able to help them with their budget, help them with their debt, help them with their insurances, and make sure that they're using the best for their financial house. So I would consider myself kind of a contractor, a general contractor in a sense, because I partner with so many different companies. So if you're building a house, Charity, and this is different because I know what your husband does. So
my husband builds houses, so it's okay. I won't make fun of your analogy, I promise.
A general contractor usually knows a roofer and a framer and a plumber and an electrician, those types of people to build your financial or your house, right? Yeah. So in the same way that somebody builds a house, they hire a general contractor that they like, know, and trust. Now you automatically trust that he makes good choices on the people that he partners with. Yeah. That's the bond that I try to create with my clients, because I would be their general contractor for their financial house, because I know, we do mortgages, insurance, savings, investments, legal protection, all of these different things, because I'm looking over the whole house. I'm not just going to build you your roof and say, well, good luck with the walls and the foundation, right? I'm there through it all. And you're working with one person rather than 5 or 6 different people. And that alone makes the stress of the clients so much less, because they're able to just work with one person, and that person knows kind of everything.
Yeah, that's so good. So one last thing before we close this out. So what are some of and not just like the money results, because obviously that's different depending on who you work with and their goals and that type of a thing, but what are some of like the non-tangible results, like the feelings that people get when they start to understand the money game, when they start to understand that they can take control of it, right? That they're the boss of their money, that money is not the boss of them, that they don't have to make fear-based decisions, that they can start to make educated and conscious decisions when it comes to their money now, when it comes to their money in the future, right? I know for us, it's there's it's not as stressful, and it's not, you can take a deep breath, and you feel a lot more in control of things, and more right, because money's just a tool. It's not good or bad, it's just as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And when we understand that we have the power to allocate it and to direct it and to manage it and to boss it around versus it being the boss of us, right? So what are some of those non-tangibles that you would say that you have seen some of your clients obtain?
Oh man, huge difference. And actually that's why I do what I do. I absolutely love being able to take that stress and anxiety and help them through that process. And sometimes it's okay, well, in order to reach our goals, we need to make some more income. And they're like, okay, great, I'm right on that. And other times it's I have no idea where $2,000 is going on a monthly basis, because we just make so much that it's fine, but I'd really like to donate towards these charities, and how can I do that? And I'm like, okay, well, let's sit down and do your budget and kind of figure things out. And so the things that people didn't think that they were capable of doing, I have clients that thought, they're in their 50s with me, and they're like, I don't think I'll ever retire. And then they sit down with me, and I'm like, okay, if we do X, Y, and Z, that's a possibility. And it's life-changing for them. Yeah. I've had another client that had an advisor for 15 years, and he was just chugging along, and he's like, Heather, I would love a second opinion. I gave him a second opinion, lowered his insurances, got him more coverages, things like that, reallocated money where things were going, and he were able to get him to retire. He was 54 at the time, or 53, and he was going to retire at 64, according to his advisor. I'm able to retire him 6 years earlier. That's what he's on track for. And he's like, I want to retire tomorrow if I can. His wife's like, well, maybe we should have our kids go through college and graduate or high school, and then you can retire as soon as your senior is out of the house, then you can retire. But it gives them that option.
Yeah.
And it's the excitement, it's the less stress, it's all the things that you talked about as well. It's that I remember, and this is a plug for using a CPA, by the way, that I remember we used to do it ourselves, right? And all the time for a while. And then our first year that we hired a CPA, I was like, oh my gosh, that saved us weeks of stress and anxiety to make sure we did it right, and all these different things. And that was just on that. And here's the thing with finances. You are constantly thinking about the day to day, and maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you don't know how you're going to earn extra income. Maybe you have that extra couple $1,000s that you're blowing on a monthly basis, but you have these desires that you want to do. So no matter where you are on that scale, just like taxes is such a stressful time for people aren't thinking about their financial future as much as they should, and they're not preparing themselves as much as they should. And I'm not only talking about retirement, I'm talking about, what if you wanted to go to France in 3 years from now? What if that was on your bucket list? What if getting out of debt sooner rather than later and avoiding a lot of interest, what if that is on your list? How can you achieve that faster than you currently are? And so it's those things that I absolutely love. Get that light turned on, and they just get excited. I had a couple last night I was sitting down with, and we were going over the budget, and I was like, okay, turn this into me this week before we meet. And he's like, I'm so excited to kind of basically see how money we blow, on when they do have goals that they want to accomplish. And it's so eye-opening when you do sit down with somebody versus the stress and anxiety that it does cause.
So good. I love it. Well, Heather, you are just doing really incredible things, especially for women in business, families in business, or families and mamas out there. So thank you for what you are doing to help women with their financial houses. How can people find you, follow you, dive into your world, ask you a question if they have questions? Where can they find you?
Feel free to, I'm Facebook or Instagram, oh my gosh, Wood Financial Coaching Services. Or you can reach out to me. I'm Heatherwood11 on Instagram as well. So feel free to send me a chat, and I will be happy to sit down and meet with anyone. And so it's really anyone who wants help, needs the help. They just don't know where to look for it. So it's a great resource that you should definitely take a part of.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. You guys reach out to Heather if you have questions, and we will see you right here on either the Business and Bubbly IGTV show, or find us on the podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, share this out. That really helps us. And if you are looking for women in business just like Heather, make sure that you jump into our directory, where we are compiling an amazing directory, a database of women doing incredible things in business for you to find and to connect with and to hire and all that fun stuff. So head on over to findwomeninbusiness.com. All right, you guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.